Every revolution is a change, and revolutions have changed human life since antiquity. From the invention of the written script to the abacus-driven number games, from the beginnings of telecommunication to the electronic technologies of yesterday, every revolution led to some progress and change, until we reached a revolution that redefined human life in a radically new way. Although the revolution was based on special machines called computers, it is only in recent years that computers have developed the ability to effect this radical change. Computers have been with us for more than half a century now. Starting from basic transistor-driven devices, they have evolved through 5 generations into high-tech equipment, rivaling the memory, speed and abilities of entire nations and civilizations. It is these evolving machines that made the entire world available to us in the form of information, along with the technology by which it could be transferred and controlled. The IT revolution, as this revolution is currently known as, has grown in a flash to affect virtually all aspects of our lives. From telecommunication to transportation, from education to surgery, from governance to banking, all kinds of activities are today embedded with information technology. A technology that has opened up a host of other exciting possibilities. Space, time and distance, the formidable frontiers of yesterday stand demolished today. A heavy traffic of men, material and data across the globe has become possible in a way that was unthinkable even a decade ago, as IT brings the world together in the form of a global village. This new reality is creating new centers of activity and power. It is names like these that have directed the course of IT revolution and changed the fortunes of many developing as well as developed economies. Together, they have transformed IT into one of the biggest business opportunities of the new century, or perhaps of the new millennium. Nations rich in human resource and technology from different corners of the globe are riding the crest of this revolution to create a new destiny for the rest of the mankind. The undisputed leader on the list of such countries is India. Information technology is as old in India as in the rest of the world, but it has grown really fast here.
The last 25 years, or 3 decades, we have crossed a lot of steps which had taken 100 years for other countries to cross.
This swift pace was matched with a wide-ranging effect. While IT caused decisive changes in the social and cultural fabric of the country, the most significant changes were at the economic level. The share of IT in India's growing GDP moved up from 1.4% in 1998 to 3.8% currently. Perhaps no other nation can boast such massive returns from IT. But that became possible because the people of India kept pace with it.
You see, you take 1 million people at random and pick the ones who will adapt to technology, Indians would possibly rank amongst the highest.
As IT developed with India, both got new identities. What was earlier thought impossible became possible with the development of various cutting-edge technologies.
If you're thinking of an insulin pump to be built in India, which will deal with the nervous system of the body instead of the bloodstream of the body, that's absolutely cutting edge.
Such technologies are being developed by thousands of trained Indian personnel.
It's we Indians who are spearheading this movement globally.
Apart from trained personnel, over $12.5 billion worth of software and software services are exported from India and helped India's foreign reserves cross the $100 billion mark. Such a wide pool of talent and resources has led to the emergence of a new, strong and vibrant India. Indian professionals today service some of the most demanding international clients and have the ability to take up the most challenging assignments.
There is not a single organization in the world which does not look to India for that knowledge capital.
There are good reasons why Indian professionals are international favorites, offering comprehensive servicing and technical abilities at competitive costs. These professionals also deliver quality on time.
The Indian IT professionals are some of the best in the world. You have some of the top educational institutions in the world here in India, plus many Indians have been educated in fine institutions in the United States and other countries around the world.
India has indeed emerged as a brand that the world has come to trust in the field of IT-related products, services, and manpower.
Brand India has happened because the Indian mind has been recognized the world over.
Ask anyone about prominent Indians in IT and
The thought leaders of your industry, men like Azim Premji, like Ram Ramadore.
The one who's made the most impact is Mr. Narayan Murthy.
Of course, Mr. Azim Premji.
Vinod Dham,
Devang Mehta,
Kanwal Rekhi.
ask them about outstanding products.
The Indian product Mastercraft was used for building a very advanced financial services solution for global straight-through processing.
iFlex product, which is FlexCube.
I think the best product of India is its programmers. That's really where the strength is.
Today, India offers total quality solutions in IT-related products, services and personnel at a competitive costs for any destination across the world.
Thank you for calling Solution Center.
It is this potent mix of cost and quality in products, services as well as personnel that has made India's presence a must in all IT-related success stories.
Indian engineers and scientists have been both leaders and major components of the growth of the IT industry. So there's no doubt that India has had a positive effect not only within its own country but on the global IT industry.
Many economies have gained from the pioneering performance of Indian professionals, and India has emerged as the first third-party destination reputed for other competencies too.
It's a place where new ideas are being created, where the whole idea of sending work offshore has really become a model for the rest of the world. Other countries around the world are trying to emulate because of the success of India.
In fact, the repeated success of India in the field of IT has led to a new phenomenon called co-sourcing. Global players now find it convenient to outsource the entire range of their activities to India. The secret behind the success of the Indian IT story lies in a number of factors: people, policies and infrastructure. All these inherent strengths have combined to make India an IT heaven. Known worldwide for its sheer size, variety and diversity, India is a new magic land. Where antiquity has combined with modernity, where upmarket malls mingle with busy streets, where glass and steel jostle with each other on the faces of skyscrapers. This is the new and urbanized face of India that can be seen in the rapidly growing number of cities springing up near or away from established centers like Mumbai, Delhi, Chennai, Ahmedabad, Bangalore, Hyderabad and Pune. Each of these cities enjoy the unique advantage of a 5 to 12-hour time differential from some parts of the world that makes India suitable as a work site for continuing business processes.
Normally in the United States, we would have a team of people work in the middle of the night to compile all the data for the managers in the morning. Well, over here that's daytime, so it was made sense. Our people in America can go home at night, the reports and data can get compiled out here in India and sent back to the United States first thing in the morning.
Several multinationals have found India an ideal offshoring destination because this biggest democracy offers a stable and transparent government, an independent judiciary, and a dynamic and vigilant media. This wide human resource base has been nurtured within a comprehensive and holistic education system that comprises over 883,000 primary and upper primary schools and 133,000 higher and higher secondary schools, with a curriculum in which
English and maths have been our core strengths.
Add to this 8,737 general colleges and over 2,400 professional institutions, and a formidable higher educational infrastructure emerges.
The knowledge capital and the wealth of experience, wealth of education that came out of this country was very, very well understood, because we consistently pushed.
This knowledge capital and experience have produced a formidable army of manpower offering unmatched quality.
I would rate the Indian IT professional as better than the best worldwide. That's because 70% of all quality certifications given the world over have been given to Indians or Indian companies.
Many far-sighted industrial, trade and fiscal policies introduced by the Government of India have well complemented the educational system in making India more competitive and advanced in the field of IT.
The three economic measures which had a major impact on the software industry are the first one being liberalization of Indian industry starting 91, with the specific things like free pricing of shares. The second one I would like to talk about is forming the electronic export processing zones and software technology parks. And the last one I would emphasize is zero import duty for importing software.
The testimony to some of these new initiatives taken by the government is the fact that the way the entire software industry in India has grown and super grown.
Tax holidays have been provided to telecommunication companies along with IT-related companies operating from underdeveloped areas to infrastructure and power-related industries. Ventures operating in software technology parks and institutions oriented towards R&D.
Today, because of the pro-IT initiatives, we have many MNC companies like IBM and HP setting up their manufacturing units out of India along with other Indian manufacturers. Moving forward, it is not far off when we can actually see these companies also catering to the global requirement out of India.
This vigorous growth in the Indian IT industry has been largely a product of the exceptional high quality that India offers at extremely competitive costs. Incredible as this sounds, you need to hear it again to believe it.
Every businessman wants to provide to his customers the best service at the cheapest possible price. What coming to India allows you to do is to do that. There's very good quality staff available at a very cheap price. I don't think until you come to India that you realize that that's possible. Come to India and try it out for yourself.
The truth can be proven again and again. India has
more number of CMM certified companies than any other country on the globe today. It also has more number of IT professionals than any other country in the globe today.
Not surprisingly, all the global majors depend on Indian IT talent for their business strategies.
Be it IBM, be it Microsoft, be it Intel. In fact, they started depending on Indian companies both for their infrastructure as well as knowledge management requirements.
It is being increasingly acknowledged that Indians are indeed the best when it comes to performance.
What you do is you have a conversation with them and tell them what you're looking for. The end result, they come back and tell you exactly how they're going to get there.
Developed human resource is not the only landmark of Indian IT. A robust infrastructure deserves parallel mention. Realizing the key role of telecommunication in the growth of IT, the Indian government has opened up this sector to private participation. Growing at an average rate of over 20% in recent years, the Indian telecom industry is today valued at well over $10 billion and seamlessly connects India to the rest of the world. All the important cities and most emerging ones are also interlinked through an elaborate network of roads running through 3.3 million kilometers. Running parallel to these roads is the other lifeline of the IT industry, the power sector. India today produces more than 100,000 megawatts of power, and according to Planning Commission projections, this figure will touch the 200,000 megawatts mark by 2012. Almost all these infrastructural facilities can be seen operational in the numerous software technology parks that dot the landscape of the major Indian cities. Built exclusively to revolutionize the development of software, these parks have been instrumental in redefining the productive potential of the Indian software industry. The booming IT industry has carved a digital destiny for India. Today, IT plays a key role in the making of a new self-sufficient and empowered India in its towns as well as its villages. IT has been
successfully launched, accepted, applied, and has become part of life of millions of people in the villages of Andhra Pradesh. It will soon envelop the entire country, and that's a promise.
IT is set to redefine not only the lives of rural but also urban Indians by generating immense employment in the services sector.
As we go forward, we see another point of inflection coming, which is to convert the 200 billion lines of legacy code into newer platforms. That will be the new opportunity where the world cannot do without the Indian IT.
Indian IT has today reached a point where it can collect all its experiences and competencies to create a revolutionary new future for itself.
Now, the robustness of processes which we have learned from global companies, either in India or by going overseas, has settled in. We know how to do this now. Now, the same extraordinary people now will go up and build super extraordinary products and sell solutions for the whole world. We are here as a superior knowledge-based, technology-based society.
The process has already begun. Today, the Indian IT industry commands a massive market of about $19.9 billion with contributions from domestic software and services, hardware, peripherals and networking, training, and software and services exports.
Earlier we used to fulfill the external demands. Today we are using IT to create internal demands.
The last few years have been years of growth in terms of numbers, confidence as well as opportunities. Some of the most striking opportunities have emerged in the R&D sector.
Clearly the research and the whole R&D area is hot now. Lots of people coming in.
According to NASSCOM, established and emerging R&D fields in India include high-performance computing, wireless and mobile applications, nanotechnology, chip engineering, digital signal processing, and FDA Class 3 medical devices.
We are not just moving up the value chain, which would have meant giving up what we have at that base. It's a building block approach. So we have built more and more. We have moved from so-called manpower augmentation, which is, in some senses moving people up and down, to services. From services, we are now moving to products, and a lot of Indian companies are doing excellent products. And now we are getting into sophisticated areas of research and R&D. So you really captured the whole value chain.
It is this confidence that has made India a global IT powerhouse, a trend likely to flourish in the future.
India will continue to play an important role because tomorrow India will be the most important market as well as the most important supplier of IT goods and services.
One of the hottest products offered on sale from the Indian market is software and software services. The industry generated a phenomenal revenue touching $15.9 billion in 2003-2004 and is expected to cross the 20 billion mark in the financial year 2004-2005. A huge chunk of this pie comes from the export sector. Indian software and software services exports registered a growth of 30.5% during 2003-2004, clocking revenues exceeding $12.5 billion.
India is a disruptive force in the IT services market. What we have done is prove the fact that information technology services can be provided at extremely high quality, extremely reliably, and with very high technology content from halfway across the world.
About 40% of these software and services were exported to the financial services sector, followed by 12% to the manufacturing sector. Some of the emerging verticals for Indian software and services include healthcare, telecom, retail, and the government itself. Producing for the same sectors within India, the domestic software and services sector has registered a slow yet steady rise from $2.8 billion in 2003 to a projected $4.2 billion by the year ending 2005.
Hi, this is Vanessa. I'm calling about your account, which is 2 payments past due.
Ms. Smith, I have removed the late charge and finance charge from your account. Thank you for calling customer service.
Another boom in the Indian IT industry can be seen in the IT-enabled services or the BPO sector. A mature market, sophisticated infrastructure, and a growing global trust have created the BPO success story in India. But what makes India irresistible is its unbeatable combination of PQR, that is, the productivity, quality, and rate factors. Outsourcing to India has helped companies achieve 40 to 50% cost savings, and as per the COPC QAI study, Indian ITES providers have a client satisfaction level of more than 80%.
Some of the upcoming service lines are knowledge management and engineering and design. Especially if you look at knowledge management, you have many Indian companies coming up with network operating center, and they are actually catering to the services, and these are niche high-end services.
The ITES industry has been tactically supported by a steadily emerging hardware sector.
With the Indian economy now integrated with the rest of the world, our capital goods sector is growing very rapidly, and the world now better watch out for Indian hardware exports also.
The changes are already perceptible. Driven by the internet growth and falling computer prices, PC sales has grown at a rate of 87% over the last year, and the installed PC base in India is expected to cross the 10 million unit mark during 2003-2004. Booming PC sales are only one side of the story. Thanks to a strategic reduction on duties, servers, notebooks, printers, and almost all the peripherals have registered a steady increase both in terms of sale and production.
India has cutting-edge capability in design. Combine that with engineering and manufacturing, India becomes an ideal location for hardware for any global company to come to.
Rising hardware production and dissemination within India has led to the initiation of numerous e-governance projects.
The objective of e-governance in India is to bring good governance to the doorstep of the citizen and reach the unreached.
A rare example of reaching out to provide good governance can be witnessed on this portal, the e-Panchayat.
Our objective of providing electronic connectivity to 0.9 billion people of rural India has become mission possible by means of e-Panchayat.
Apart from connectivity, e-governance offers other revolutionary possibilities.
The opening up of almost 500 district passport cells, where the entire process is decentralized, is a classic example of the e-governance system in India, where we take the information technology to the rural masses.
Under the project e-Passport, the Ministry of External Affairs has achieved something truly commendable.
We have achieved the mammoth task of having 1 billion passport online, and just one step away from e-Passport.
Numerous initiatives like these have combined to revolutionize the delivery of public services and the general interaction between citizens and governments.
We are one of the
relatively small number of countries in the world that allow citizens to file their income tax returns online.
The electronic culture spawned by the rapid strides of IT in India has made setting up an IT company particularly convenient as well as rewarding. Pioneering, dynamic, yet comprehensive, Indian laws have been designed to propagate this electronic culture.
The IT Act 2000, which was gazetted in October of 2000, made at that time India one of the very few countries in the world to give legal sanctity to electronic transactions undertaken through the internet.
Adequate security arrangements have ensured that such liberal policies stay functional.
As more and more money goes online, more and more crooks will go online. India is the only place in the world where the police and industry work together so that cyberspace is safe to use, unsafe to misuse.
The pioneering and safety aspects of the Act are complemented with its simplicity. Both Indians as well as overseas individuals and companies can set up an IT company in India. Foreigners can set up partnership firms, joint ventures or wholly owned subsidiaries.
In the 4 years that the IT Act has been in place, one of the things that has happened is that many of our government to citizen and business to business, government to business interactions have all become very transparent.
Most of the operational clearances for the industry are now available online.
The export and import licenses that people have to procure in the various export processing zones, at the present instance, the various import exporters are able to deal with the special export zones purely through the internet. Their export licenses or import licenses, as the case might be, are digitally signed by the commissioner.
An intensive drive has been on to digitize the records and operations of the financial sector.
And this is what has allowed the Indian stock markets to move from a notional 5-day settlement time to right now a 2-day settlement time. And we are realistically planning to have what is known as T+0, which means that all share transactions get settled on the same day on which they are executed.
Even as you view this film, this new revolution is gathering pace through the length and breadth of India in unthinkable ways. Let's take a look at what the future holds.
Do we have an opportunity? Absolutely yes. Would we capitalize on that opportunity? We should and we must and we will.
India will skip this one level all over again of made in India. India would come into designed in India, which is the maxim that you can think of.
10 years down the line, I have already given my forecast. I think India would have a hardware and software industry of $200 billion as against about $19 billion today.
So, can we speak of India as the digital destination of tomorrow?
Yes, certainly a digital destination, a bigger market and a bigger laboratory.